I'd really like to say thank you very much for your family members to be here today. It's just wonderful to see all of you here, and it's just such a great experience. So today we will be hosted by Mick Liubinskas, and Mick is a pretty famous name in the startup community. He's a high-energy tech entrepreneur. He's an advisor, investor, industry leader, and he's also a former EO Sydney member. The run sheet's pretty amazing. We will have a business online, live, and ready to go in about 4 hours, fully designed and fully capable. Mick, thanks so much for joining us.
Australia is right now so brilliantly placed to create global technology businesses, but one thing we absolutely need is for younger Australians to see entrepreneurship as a career choice. There is a big wave of entrepreneurs who are high integrity, high passion, sharing and really creating an industry. And one thing we want to do is to help them be role models. It's okay to have your sports stars and your rock stars as role models too, but why can't some entrepreneurs be role models? So that's a part of it. The other thing is to show you what it feels like, show you some of the excitement. My goal today is to make this as activity-based and action-oriented as possible, because that's what entrepreneurship is. Yeah, no amount of theory, you can do 10 years of theoretical study of entrepreneurship, and then the moment you get, it's like studying rugby union by theory, by reading books, right? You walk onto the pitch, and what's going to happen is you're going to get hit pretty hard, and you're going to look up your book again and wonder what's going on. You can only learn entrepreneurship by doing, so that's what today is going to largely be about. I do love startups. I love being involved with them. I love the power of them. And again, as I said, I think Australia is very, very well placed to do some amazing things. Who saw the Social Network movie about Facebook? Anyone see the Facebook movie? Yeah? Now, let me tell you, you don't have a couple of beers on a Friday night, get angry at your ex-girlfriend, write a couple of liner codes, and then Justin Timberlake comes and gives you $1 million, and then you're a billion-dollar company. It's much, much, much harder than that. One of my favourite quotes about entrepreneurship is people who pursue visions beyond their current level of resources. So when Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook, he didn't have $1 billion, he didn't even have $1 million, he didn't even have $10,000. He actually started without the resources. As he went along, he learned how to run the business, and he built the resources he collected the resources to go and build his business. And that's part of what I want to try to show today. They are hard, but you can learn. And that's absolutely what, today more than anything, I guarantee you're not going to launch a business this afternoon that goes viral and gets picked up by TechCrunch and all of a sudden you get acquired by Google. But I want to actually teach you about the learning process of startups and part about how that's changed. But again, I mentioned you only learn by doing, so today it's going to be heavily focused on doing. So today, here's a couple of things we're going to run through. The very first thing we're going to do is brief in the logo. There's a logo designer online right now waiting for your brief for your business's logo. So the very first thing we're going to do is brief the logo. Then you're going to pitch your business. Then we're going to launch our business, and then we're going to get customer feedback. We're actually going to put something live to customers today and get some feedback from them about their proposition. Okay, so let's get started. You need to go to this address, bit.ly/EO logo. So if you go to that address, there's a form to fill out. You just have to give us your company name, a short tagline, who is the customer you're after, what industry you're in. If your business was an animal, what would it be? If your business was a car, what would it be? If your business was a singer or a rock band, what would it be? Do you want it to be fun, corporate, professional? What are your favourite colours? Are there any logos you love? And are there any symbols you'd like to use in your logo? So each team now, first activity. Start working through that and start thinking about what logo you want to create. The designer's ready to receive those briefs. As soon as you get your brief in, the first person who gets their brief in, the designer's going to start. So first in, best dressed. I just want to talk to you about a principle. I've already alluded to it a little bit, but a little bit more of the principle about how do we create successful businesses in such a fast-moving world. Who's heard the term FLEARN? FLEARN. A couple of years ago, we realised Australia has a major issue with the word failure. A lot of people feel like it's a big negative. Hand up who wants to be a failure? Anybody really want to be a failure? Hand up who's brave enough to fail on the way to success. So if we're all okay to fail on the way to success, it's not about actually failure, it's about what we do with it and what we do after it. So we actually created a we created this word called learn, which is to learn through failure. Something that's a bit popular these days is actually starting a startup and it not working. There's no learning in that. You actually have to make sure there's a big part of the learning process. All the teams that we work with, we encourage them every week and sometimes every day to have a learning session, to have to look back on what you did, see what happened, see how you can get better at it and move forward. Who here's heard of WD-40? Even the young kids heard of WD-40, Michael? Your dad's never sprayed WD-40 on your bike or to fix it, no? So WD-40 is a spray in a can lubricant which helps basically everything. The two things they say you need in life is duct tape and duct tape to stop things, WD-40 things to get things going. But who actually knows what WD-40 stands for? Does anybody know? Water displacement number 40. It was the 40th attempt to create a water displacement oil. 39 failures. This was a big team of qualified people who knew what they were doing, knew what they were trying to do, and it still took them 39 failures before they got a success. And this is something I use, it's not going to be 39 for every company, it's something I use for all the entrepreneurs to say, you're going to fail. You're doing something, who's in their business ideas is building something that they've never built before? Hand up. Who's building something that no one else has ever built before either? Hand up. Brand new, no one's ever done something like you're doing. So even if no one ever's done it, that's even harder. But if you've never done it before, you're not going to get it right first time. There's no way you can get it right first time. So what we encourage people to do is don't put off failure. Don't look for perfectionism. Don't say, I'm going to spend all this time thinking about it and then launch, and that feels safer, and then I'll fail. That's actually a worse way to do it. So here are the learning laps that we talk about. You think about it, you try it, you see the results, you learn from it, and you go again. And every single company I've worked with in StartMate and Pollinizer, every 6 months the business is significantly different than when it started. So Muradi, every company, by the time it comes out the other side. So one of our companies in here, Chatty Kids, was a tablet application that let family overseas, like your grandma overseas, read bedtime stories to your kids. But it finished as an application for the Smith family so that they could actually get two people to teach each other to read. Do you know what Smith family were doing? They were posting out books to two kids and they would ring each other up on the phone. And now on an Android tablet, they can actually read 100 books together and they can read to multiple kids. Amazing. Smith family can only look after 2,500 kids because of the cost. They're ramping it out to 100,000 kids now because of the technology. 100,000 kids in Australia are going to be able to learn to read faster because of this technology. But what he started was grandma reading to his kids. 6 months he went through laps and laps and laps and laps and laps. This wall is actually a whiteboard. So this is the learning wall. So every time today, there'll be points for really good learnings. Every time today you've learned something. Every time you have a failure and you go, gosh, we could have done that better. Every time you even learn something from somebody else, or whatever we do today, we're going to write up on the board. I want to end today with a whole wall of learnings. And if you think about it, that's the IP of your business. Some people think about first mover advantage. So you think about your business like, oh, we're the first ones to have this idea. So that's why you keep it to yourself and you don't tell anybody and you perfect it over a couple of years and then you show the world and you get it wrong. The alternate approach is actually to follow this and just learn faster than anybody else. And that way when you launch, you've got the same attitude in place. Google and Facebook and all these new companies, they see these old big businesses that have got big and slow. They're so aggressively focused on fast learning. All of their engineers have to push some code live to hundreds of millions of people within the first month. So because they've got this, even their lawyers and accountants have to have this attitude of fast learning. Otherwise they'll slow down. In this globally competitive world these days, you can't win by holding on to things. You've actually just got to embrace the fast learning and go for it. I've actually been involved in starting more than 100 companies. And that's at least putting a product in front of customers. And I've got 12 of them that are still alive out of 100. 12 of them. But I tell you what, some of our companies, we actually failed them within 6 weeks and for less than $6,000. We had one lady who came to us at Pollinizer. She had $400,000. She had been made redundant. She got a big payout. She mortgaged her house and she said, I'm going to build my business. I've got $400,000. She was going to spend the whole $400,000 on one go. She was going to build a big app and then launch it to the world and hope everyone loved it. And I said, "You're crazy." And then she goes, "Oh, but I'm so excited about this big vision up here." I said, "Yeah, but you're down here. You got nothing, no customers." She goes, "Oh, but I need SMS, I need a website, I need a payment gateway." I said, "I need a marketing tool." I said, "Well, why don't we use WordPress? Why don't we use Skype to send the SMSs? Why don't we use PayPal? Why don't we use just put up some Google ads?" So for less than $6,000 over an 8-week period, she tested 30 variations of her business without a line of code being written by an engineer. She came in, 2 bottles of champagne, and said, "Mick, that was a dismal failure. No one wants that at all. You saved me $394,000. Let's party." Like she was seriously like partly relieved, partly scared. But now she's a big advocate of this. It's like this is what we're going to do today. Take existing tools, learn as much as we possibly can. There's another company called Aardvark that you probably never heard of. 6 really smart guys and girls from Stanford University. They wanted to build a tool where you could ask a question into a box. It would route it to someone in the world who's an expert in that area, ask them the question, get the answer, and route it back to them, to the person who asked it. And they actually built it by just having a Google Talk account and using a shared spreadsheet where they listed everyone's names and their expertise. And they used to cut and paste the questions from one Google Talk account to another. They were acquired by Google for $60 million before they even built the product. Google bought them for the IP. They bought them for their failures, basically. Now it's pitching time. So pitching is not just about raising capital. You have to pitch constantly. I've had to pitch 14 times to my wife to have the permission to go and be an entrepreneur, because it's like, I know I can go and get a salary somewhere, and I know I'm at Telstra now on a salary, but 14 times I've gone, "Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go and start a new business from scratch." She's like, "Okay." So Spreet's really helped me in a lot of ways. Happily married to my first wife, so that's really, really good. You've got to pitch to your spouses, you've got to pitch to your business partners, you've got to pitch to customers, you've got to pitch to suppliers. Yes, you've got to pitch to investors, you've got to pitch to media. So today we're going to start by learning how to pitch. What we're going to do is we've got these pitch sheets. Each team's going to get a pitch sheet. You have to fill it out. And basically what we're going to do, one person in each team is going to stand up in front of everybody and pitch the business back. Very, very quickly. It should take less than a minute to pitch your business.
Hi all, my name is Ewan Tran. Our company name is I Am Dapper. In our team is myself. The customer we help are time-poor men with bad stubble or beards. They need help because they are presented with so much choice in personal grooming products. What our product does is bring everything together to save time. After they use our product, they will look better and be able to spend more time doing the more important things. We will find new customers by marketing to the right audience, and I'm excited to do this because it will actually solve a problem that I experienced personally.
Hi, my name is Harry Allen. Our company name is Cloud9. In our team is me, my mum, and my brother. The customer we help is young boys ages 10 to 18. They need help because there is a lack of boys' clothing and merchandise on the northern beaches. What our product does is it gives more boys a bigger range of clothing and merchandise which is affordable. Boys will have a larger choice in price and product of clothing. We will find new customers by advertising on social media, Instagram and Facebook pages, newspapers and word of mouth. I am excited to do this because I can relate to the business's target market.
Look, one thing that's so valuable about that is hearing other people pitch their businesses. So a lot of people, again, they sit in their rooms, they think about their ideas, and think. They actually don't get to bounce their thoughts off other people. The most valuable part of this whole room is the 9 other businesses that have been running at the same time. And there's a lot of learning, and there's a little bit of friendly jealousy. Like, oh, those guys are targeting a really interesting customer base, and they thought about that in a different way. What do you think about that? And these guys are knocking down some sales. He's already out and about selling door to door. Why come we don't have any sales? So you actually, with a big chunk of integrity, a nice bunch of friendliness, you actually that jealousy turns into ambition and turns into action, which is really, really good to see. But great, fantastic. That's one of the hardest things to do. You won't believe how many people are actually applying to Muru-D to get investment in their product and still lack the courage to stand up in front of an audience and talk about their idea. And there's a couple of things about that. The courage to stand up and actually talk about it, and the second one is to share it. Ideas get better with sharing. It doesn't take it away from it. Again, 100 cups of coffee, I say, it takes to raise capital. And part of the reason is by sharing it with one group, you learn something, some feedback that you didn't know about. Then you go to another group, you learn something else. And you try a different version of your pitch, and it gets better and better and better. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Plus, your network gets better. I pitched to one group, and they're like, oh, actually, I know someone who can help you. I know someone who's looking for that. Fantastic. You've got to be pitching, selling over and over and over. Learn time. Okay, I want everyone to jump up. Grab a pen and write one thing you learned from that pitching process or thinking about your business and add it to the Learn board. We're gonna have afternoon tea, so you can grab some afternoon tea, write up a lesson you learned. So we've got some good ones already. There was one that was raised in the break. Someone was talking about when they do research. So they got about 30 people who said they were interested, and they did research and they asked them lots of questions, and then they said, oh, so would you like to buy the product? And it feels a bit weird, it doesn't quite work. So it's actually a really, really important difference, and we'll see that today. There's a difference between actually research and actually putting a proposition in front of a customer. It's completely different. Everyone's had some coffee. Does anyone really, really want another coffee? Anyone feel like another coffie? I'll go get you one for $100. So see the difference? The first one was research, the next one was an actual proposition. I was trying to find out how much he really wants a coffee. Because that's what gets missed out. It's like, oh yeah, I could quite do with a coffee. $100? Yeah, forget it. That's what people forget is how much do you actually want it? And to begin with, who here would move houses next door to save $5 rent a week? Or $5 in their mortgage?
What, sorry?
Save $5 a week on rent. Who would move phone companies to save $1 a month? Who would move banks to save $1 a month? No one even would move to these massive institutions that everyone knows for small bits of value, and they're not going to try your new business for small bits of value. This is again why I try to look for, when I think about my customers I'm going after, I think about all of them. So I want the whole world. I want a really, really, really big market, but in terms of how much they want my product, in terms of the pain they're in or the value they get out of it, there are some people down here who get a lot of value, and there are other people up here who get a little bit of value. And the problem is most people, they think the safest thing to do is to open the funnel wide as you possibly can and go, let me build it for everybody, that way I can't fail. But actually what you end up doing is building something that no one really wants. We had one of the first companies we worked in at Pollenizer, they'd raised $2 million and they'd built a platform for sports teams. And it was, they supported 64 different sports in 80 different countries, and there were 16 features. And they said, we just don't get it. How can we be failing when our funnel is so big, we look after so many people? But the problem was they were a little bit good for everybody. They were trying to please everybody at once. And they actually got beaten by a company who had an SMS reminder tool for soccer teams, only focused in Melbourne. That's how they started. So the other company focused down here. They focused on a group that had this massive pain gap. People who would walk across broken glass to get to your product. We had a product once, a startup, and a guy emailed us and said, I've used your product 12 times and it's crashed my computer every single time. And I was like, oh my God, this guy hates us. Can you please tell me when the next version's coming out? I really need it. He's tried it 12 times, like he's down here. So that's what I look for. I look for a 10x value gap, a 10x bit of pain. So we're getting prepared now to actually think about what you're actually going to offer. So when you pitched, one of the reasons I asked the questions that way is because I want you to start thinking about putting words down into a proposition that someone can say yes to. What's the average time you think most people spend on a new website to see whether they like it or not? How long do you think people spend on average?
30 seconds to a minute.
30 seconds to a minute? 5 seconds.
10, 15.
10, 15. Sometimes it's less than 2 seconds on a page. Bounce rate, there's like, go to a page. So young kids, multiple devices. Who actually uses multiple devices when they're online? So they've got a phone, an iPad, and the computer. The TV's running. Do you know, people between the ages of 15 and 25 consume, in terms of actual content, they consume 36 hours of content a day.
Wow.
They can actually consume 36 hours of content in a 24-hour period because of multitasking. That's just incredible. So how do we actually get their attention? We certainly don't do it by saying, here's a 15-minute video on our product. Here's a really, really long essay on why you should buy our product. You have to be very deliberate. And here's another reason to focus. So if your message says, we have a games product for everyone in the whole world for any kind of game. It's like, well, I only play RPG and I'm in Reykjavik, that's in Iceland. For those, I'm in Melbourne. But if the site said, Sydney kids, age 12, RPG games, swap them today, I'd be like, oh, that's for me. So what I want you to start thinking about is a couple of things to put the offer together. And this is what we're going to put on our home pages. So this is when we start thinking what we might do is either grab rooms or grab whiteboards or grab some more of the sheets of paper. We're just going to brainstorm this. I want to know, what's the product? What are you actually selling? Try to sell me something. What am I actually going to get from this? You can't put it in long terms. You've got to put it in really, really short, fast terms to say, you're going to get this much value. People would have no time. To what customer are you focused on? Don't make them guess. Let me know. A lot of you talked about Google Ads. So if you do Google Ads, you can target, and Facebook and a lot of ways of promoting. You've got a lot of context. You have a really great understanding of who they are before they get to your site. Don't target them really tight and then go broad. If you've targeted 30-year-old left-handed squash players from Surrey Hills who have beards and have no socks on, then put the language around the whole site around that. Again, we talk about focus. So who's the customer we're going after, and at what price? Give me a proposition. Maybe for enterprise software you might say, give me your email or give me your phone number and we'll talk about price. But tell me, and what's the benefit? What's the benefit? But you want to have a short, sharp statement which encapsulates all these things so they know they're at the right place, they know what they're going to get, and they want to click. And the big mistake most people do is to say, here's my business, here are 18 different things you can click. And it's like, what do I do here? Where do I go? Like you go to some websites, you're like, I actually want to buy your product, but I have no idea. Who's been to a website like that? You're like, I really, really want this, but I don't know, I give up, I leave because I can't even do it. Do whatever you can to get them to take an action which helps you. The first action. That could be giving them your email address, it could be calling you up, it could be just clicking a button going to see a demo or signing up. But what we're going to do is go to a website called Wix.com. I found it's the easiest one to create a branded, nice, good website to launch pretty fast. You can spend money to get your own domain name and publish it. You can actually get a free URL, which is all you really need for today. So on your computers, you can go to Wix.com, Wix.com. There's got lots of categories there to choose from. Your first selection really impacts what you're going to create. Try to make sure, this is the only thing I really ask, make sure you pick a website where you can have a really big headline to say what your product is. Don't pick a website which is beautiful and has 4,000 images and 18 different videos and 8,000 links to click. Look, go through the categories which describe your business and pick something which allows you to have a website. So it's a quite intuitive tool to use depending on your skills, but I can come around, I've used it many times to create simple websites. What we're going to create here is the website, a single page, and we're going to promote this website out in the next 45 minutes. So the things you need is an offer to get something and a call to action. We need to track the results of this. So we're trying to get either email addresses to people to call you, to like your homepage, follow you on Twitter. We want some sort of a reaction. Just to be clear, there's a very good chance you're going to throw this website out and never use it again, but the goal is to learn. We're going to put this live for some customers, get some feedback today. So let's check on the results. Did anyone get any feedback from customers? Any testimonials? Any responses on Twitter saying I love it? Any feedback? Got Facebook comments? Got a couple of likes on Facebook? That's great. How many likes? I tell you, this story had this. When I worked at Kazaa, so Kazaa was this massive peer-to-peer file sharing business that was sharing billion music files and movie files illegally every year. And I was hired to try to turn it into actually sell content because the distribution network was so powerful. And what happened was we tried to get content to sell on it, and the only company that would actually give us content was a B-grade Bollywood movie about cricket. It was a cricket movie, a B-grade Bollywood. This wasn't even A-grade Bollywood. We put it online and we sold 8 copies of it. We sold 8 copies of it. And the guy who did it was like, I'm so embarrassed, we only sold 8 copies. I said, you know what? No one has ever sold anything by peer-to-peer before. That's 8 more than anyone else in the world has done. We start with 8. Then when we got the next one was even better. We got 800, and then we got A-grade Bollywood content. We're able to sell 8,000 of those. We got better and better and better. So even if a few likes on Facebook or a few comments, from little things, big things grow. And look, we only did this a couple of hours ago. So this again, embrace the failure, embrace the positiveness of small steps on the way to a bigger journey. Who felt that moment when they went, gosh, there's a lot of things I can make better, but I just have to get it out? Did everyone really feel that moment? Yeah. And it feels a little bit awkward the first time, but who feels better about it now? Who feels more likely now to be able to go, that wasn't so bad, yeah, it kind of sucked, but it was kind of okay as well, and it was kind of someone actually came to it instead of thinking, oh, there's that idea I always wanted to do, I just don't have the time. Now no one has any excuse. Time is not the issue. You can absolutely test these ideas really, really super fast, and you can get response back. That's what we're looking for. Not will this business work, it's does anyone care? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you another set of, another set of sheets. You can use the same sheets you want if you want to go again. We're going to do a quick update to your pitch, and you're going to come up and pitch again. I want to see how far you came. What did you learn? Put your results in, and then we'll go from there.
So my name is Tully, and our new name of our company is Buy for a Cause. In our team is my dad, Simon, and my brother, Ethan. The customer we help is basically anyone who needs essentials such as toilet paper, and we can turn it into cold cash, and that can go directly to charities by just scanning a QR code on the back of your essentials. They need help because they aren't as privileged as us living in Australia and also third world countries. What our product does is we raise money for the charity, and it's just simply by buying basic products. After they use our product, they will benefit directly from the funds that are raised, and it'll go to help to make a real difference. We will find new customers by advertising, word of mouth, social media, all that. And I'm really excited because we can make a real difference in people's lives by just going about our normal lives. And our results were we had like 10 people who reached our Facebook status and 7 people who liked the page or something.
My name is Michael. Our company name is Rowdy and Lucky's Cool Game Market. And our team is me and my dad. The customers we help is kids and money-conscious adults. They need help because they want new games but don't have the money. What our product does is give them a market to buy and sell games. After they use our product, they will get new games for old games. We will find new customers by marketing on game sites and word of mouth. I'm excited to do this because it allows kids to have new games and make money. Our results are that we've had 10 views but need a website designer.
That was good. Who felt improved? Some improvement along the way? Fantastic. That was really, really impressive, everybody. And it was just great to see in terms of getting the courage to go up and go pitch your business. That's really important to do. And telling the story over and over and over again, even if it's the same person doing it to the same audience, a little bit better, 100 times, and you get better and better. Excellent. And the difference as well, the difference of being able to add traction into your business, even if it's small. Most businesses, some of the businesses in Mirror were like, I don't want to put up my traction numbers because we're only at about 10K a month revenue. It's like, do you know how many businesses try to pitch money who have zero revenue? Companies even have zero product. It's like a small bit of revenue. That's what an investor wants to do, is to pour their funds onto the fire, a small fire to make it grow. So even a tiny bit of traction shows that it's at least moving. So let's see if we did what we wanted to do. Got some notes over there. How quickly can you start a business? Do you think we know now how fast we can start a business? So again, you've got to one of the biggest things I think for Celeste was actually letting go and going, there's a difference between starting a business and again, the 1,000 steps you take to be an enormous business. What else do we have? Low cost startup, absolutely. Who spent $1 today? Other than your EO fees, which are proven by the best EO event ever. And getting others involved, well, we got others involved. So this was one thing, absolutely, is if this is your business and the next step, you really quickly realise if you want to share it and get results, you can't do it in isolation. You've got to, again, get out of the building, you've got to make phone calls. But the biggest thing I see, as soon as you write a line of code or get a developer start working on it, your speed slows down by about 3 weeks in terms of your speed of development. But if you pick up the phone, you can actually just start selling a product, then you go and build a product. How to make a working online business. So the really important point there is working. So there's a difference between functioning. We all had functioning web businesses today to some degree. Somebody could email you and tell them you want to buy. Clunky, non-scalable, pretty awful actually, but that's the first step in getting a working business. A real working business is when you can acquire customers through the front end. They go and get a service they're really happy about, and it generates profitable income through on their side, and you can do it repeatably and at scale. So that's a working business. A lot of people confuse a functioning website for a working web business. Two very different things. Now I say go start a startup. Go and get a small amount of revenue, go and sell something online, get a little bit of money coming in. So for the $2 it costs to get a domain name and some free WordPress or some free online services, go and make a product that sells, generate a little bit of revenue, and grow it slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly, slowly, and you'll enjoy every moment of it. One of the beautiful things about being an entrepreneur and doing a startup is you're one step away from every single part of the whole business. One step away from product, one step away from customers, one step away from the finance, one step away from the teamwork, all those elements. And the speed of learning you'll have in the process is something I never regret being a part of. It's fantastic. That's it from me. Thank you so much for having me a part of it. Oh, thank you. Thanks.
For more information, visit our website or contact us at info@eonetwork.org.